Welcome back to Giants Latest. Hit the thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things New York Giants. The schedule has officially been announced. And you guys, it is ugly, let me tell you. But we're going to go through it week by week because I think there are some reasons to be optimistic. So let's talk through it. Okay, week 1 is away at the Commanders. This is what I have to say about this. The Giants typically play well against the Commanders. We have a lot of upgrades this year, and last year we kept both games very close. So I think there's a possibility that the Giants can go 1-0 here. Now, last year they could not get to Jaden Daniels and they couldn't sack him, but last year we didn't have Abdul Carter and we didn't have a better secondary. So I am optimistic that this is a game I think the Giants can possibly win. Week 2 against the Cowboys is in Dallas. I want to talk about this for 1 second because this is a reason to be optimistic. They have a brand new head coach. Brian Schottenheimer is brand new, which means the offense is learning a new offense, which means the whole team is working with a new head coach. Jerry Jones is still Jerry Jones. They didn't make a ton of moves this offseason. Yes, they brought in George Pickens, who is a major head case. And you know that if CeeDee Lamb starts getting the bulk of the snaps, George Pickens is going to be a monster in that locker room. So I feel like this is the best case scenario. The Giants are hitting the Cowboys at a good time. The season opener at home on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs is one of the worst season openers I've seen in a really long time. There's so many reasons to hate this. The only way it could have been worse is if it was against the Eagles. It's a night game against the Chiefs. And Taylor Swift is not on tour, so the tickets are going to be outrageously expensive. This sucks. I don't think we're going to win that game. I think the Chargers game week 4 at home is also going to be really tough. Week 5, they play the Saints in New Orleans. I think this is a game that the Giants can win. From a quarterback perspective, we're either looking at Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler. There's no reason why the Giants shouldn't be walking out of New Orleans with a win. Week 6, Thursday Night Football at home against the Eagles. Forget it. We're getting swept by the Eagles this year. I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm being realistic. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and their team is literally better after free agency and the draft. And they didn't really lose anyone. So on to the Broncos, week 7 in Denver at 4:00. This is going to be a really tough game for the Giants. I think we can get lucky if Bo Nix has a sophomore slump like some of these other quarterbacks has done. Maybe we can make it work and we can walk out of there with a win. Week 8 is away in Philly at 1 p.m. Like I said, we're losing. Week 9 at home against the Niners. I think that there is a possibility that we can keep it competitive against the Niners. Anything can happen. The NFL is a week-to-week league, and we all need to be reminded of this. Remember 2022, okay? No one had the Giants being good that year. They caught a lot of breaks, and they won really close games. If the Giants can be competitive, which they should be, this team is a hell of a lot better, especially from a roster perspective, now than it was at this time last year. We upgraded the quarterback position, among many others. They have to keep games competitive. They can sneak out wins here and there, and I think the Niners... I think that could be a possibility. Obviously, Brock Purdy is good. They've got a good situation there. But if McCaffrey is not McCaffrey, if he gets injured, if they're not, what they were 2 years ago, I think it's a possibility that the Giants could at least keep it close. You never know. Week 10, they play the Bears in Chicago at 1:00. Now, I've been saying for the last couple of years that I think the Bears are finally getting it together, and I actually thought they were going to be pretty good the last couple of years. This is going to be the Bears' year. I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl, but I think they're finally on an upwards trajectory. I think this game's going to be really hard for the Giants. Ben Johnson is going to be feeling comfortable as a head coach at this point. Caleb Williams could have a sophomore slump, although he didn't have a great year last year. So I expect him to take it a step forward. They have a better offensive line. They made good moves in free agency. I expect the Bears to be good. I think this is going to be a tough game for the Giants. Week 11 at home against the Packers at 1 p.m. Thank God these are 1:00 games too. I think this is going to be really tough for the Giants as well. We're all familiar with the Packers. We know Xavier McKinney was, of course, an all-pro last year. Can he do it again this year? Jordan Love is a very good quarterback. They got Tucker Kraft. They got good weapons for him. They've got a good running back situation. Matt LaFleur is a great head coach. This is going to be a really tough game. I think the fact that it's at home at 1:00 could work in their favor. I think at this point in the season, the biggest thing is going to be the health of this football team. If they are healthy, they should be able to be competitive and keep it close in games. Week 12 against the Lions, this is in Detroit. This is going to be a really tough game. I also think that the Lions are going to be a very good football team this year, but I think that losing both of their coordinators is going to be very challenging for them. The flip side of that is that by the time week 12 rolls around, these new coordinators should be feeling pretty good about themselves, and they've got a super talented football team. Aiden Hutchinson is coming back healthy. Jared Goff is Jared Goff. Dan Campbell is a hell of a head coach. They've got a really good football team. They upgraded some pieces on the defense that they were missing last year. So I don't think the Giants are going to win this one. Week 13, Patriots. I'm so pissed about this game, you guys. My husband is a Pats fan. We have a lot of friends in Massachusetts. My brother-in-law lives right near Foxborough. We were going to go up a little 1 o'clock game. I was like, oh, they're two of the worst teams. It's going to be Sunday, 1 o'clock in the fall. Perfect. The NFL said, nah. Monday Night Football at 8:15, December 1st against the Patriots. I will be watching from home. This, I think, is actually going to be a tougher game, too. I think Drake May is going to take a step forward this year. They've got Mike Vrabel. They made some good upgrades this offseason. I think that Vrabel is a better coach than Brian Daboll, and I think it's going to be on full display this week. I hope I'm wrong. I think the Giants will be able to keep it close, but I think it's going to be tough for them, and I think it could end up coming down to a field goal like it did just a couple years ago. Week 14 is a bye week, finally. The NFL, we already know they hated the Giants based on this schedule, but they had to give them a bye week at week 14. Thanks a lot. Week 15, they play the Commanders at home at 1 o'clock. I think the Giants split with the Commanders this year, and I think they could split with Dallas. Like I said, they're getting swept by the Eagles, but I've got a little bit of optimism here with the Commanders. I don't think they made amazing moves on their defense. Their defense was the worst part of their game last year. Jaden Daniels, obviously incredible. Dan Quinn had a great year as the head coach. I do think there's a possibility that Dan Quinn in year 2, you never know. Could we get a head coach sophomore slump like we did with Brian Daboll? You never know. The Giants could beat them at home. They could beat them away. I don't think they're going to sweep them, but I do think at the very least they will keep it close. Like I said, I think the Giants made better moves on defense, and our defense was having some issues last year. I think they made better moves there than the Commanders, but I do think the Commanders could have a better offense. They have a better quarterback, that's for sure. So that's going to be the way that this game goes. Is I think it's really based on how the offense performs. And look, if our defense can force some turnovers, then we should win this game. Week 16, Vikings, December 21st at home, 1 p.m. This is going to be a really tough game. I think that at this point in the season, J.J. McCarthy is probably feeling pretty good. The Vikings made some good moves this offseason. Kevin O'Connell is a hell of a head coach. He won Coach of the Year last year. He obviously was able to coach up Sam Darnold. I expect him to do the same with J.J. McCarthy. However, J.J. is a rookie quarterback. He's going to make some mistakes. I expect this game to be won. If it's won, it's because of this. It's because Shane Bowen is throwing him some wink-like exotic looks that J.J. McCarthy has no idea what the hell is going on. That is the way to win this game. And I hope that Shane Bowen, I hope that he can pull it off. We've got the talent. Hopefully everyone's healthy by then. That's how we win this game. I think it's winnable, but I think it will be very challenging. Week 17, they play the Raiders, December 27, 28th, that's TBD, away in Las Vegas. This, I think, is going to be a tough game. Obviously, Pete Carroll's a very good head coach. They've got Geno Smith. There's a lot of moving pieces. There were a lot of changes made this offseason. But at this point in the season, I think a lot of that stuff is going to be ironed out. And obviously, even though Pete Carroll is a new coach to the Raiders, he's not new to Geno Smith and he's not new to the NFL. So he's got really good experience. I actually think this game could be harder than people are expecting it to be. I expect the Raiders to take a step forward this year, though I don't think they're going to be great. I think it's going to be between Russ and Geno. Whoever plays the better game is who wins this. And I think it might be a little bit harder than people think. Finally, week 18 against the Cowboys. This depends on a lot of things. I think that if they don't beat the Cowboys week 2, I think they beat them week 18. I think they split with them. I don't think they sweep the Cowboys this year. Health is very important here. I do think that if it's snowy or it's cold or the Cowboys are sitting players because they're in the playoffs, then the Giants should win that. But I kind of hope the weather is used to our advantage here since they're so used to playing in a dome. Maybe we could take that to our advantage. All right. So with that being said, I think the Giants can win 8 games this year. And that is my best case scenario. Everything goes well. Most of the players are healthy, especially Andrew Thomas. And, they're keeping games very close. But this is a tough schedule. There's a lot of tough road games. They're playing really good quarterbacks and really good head coaches. There's a lot of question marks about this football team. But I think there's reasons to be optimistic. Obviously, week 1 is going to be the tell all. And yes, it's a week to week league, but week 1 is going to set the tone for how the rest of the season goes. I really believe that if they beat the Commanders week 1, I think they can win 8 games. I really think that is how they start the season off on the right foot. This game is based on confidence, and I think that that's really the right way to do it. It's going to build enough confidence in everyone to say, we won week 1 away at a division rival. Why can't we go do it in Dallas with a rookie head coach who has some question marks there? So I don't know. You guys tell me, what do you think? I think it's a really tough schedule, but I think ultimately health is the most important thing here. We've got the talent, we've got the competitiveness. It just has to be put together. We've seen good things from this football team. They just have to do it. So I'm cautiously optimistic, okay? All right, now let's talk about what games will be the most fun. I think that the Commanders-Giants game at any point during the season, I think that's going to be one of the best games to go to. Obviously, watching Jaden Daniels, he's a quarterback that I love to watch. I just think he's incredible. He's super talented. The way that he runs the ball, he throws a beautiful deep ball. Like, there's so much to love about his game. And then you've got Malik Neighbors, who he used to play with on our side of the ball. You've got Russ Wilson, who throws a beautiful deep ball. You've got Abdul Carter, who maybe finally is actually going to be able to sack him and get to the quarterback. You've got a really good defensive line for the Giants. You know, the Commanders' offensive line was not amazing last year. Jaden Daniels is just a hell of a quarterback. He was able to escape a lot of pressure. So can the Giants take advantage of that this year? Can they get home from beating their one-on-one battles and beating that offensive line? I think it's a possibility. So I think that's a good matchup this year. I think it's going to be really fun. I also think that the Bears game is going to be really good this year. I think Ben Johnson is really fun to watch. I think there's a lot to admire about him as a head coach. He's, I think, going to have a lot of fun running an offense through Caleb Williams. I always really liked Caleb Williams. I'm excited to see what he does in year 2. I think he's finally got a good coaching staff. He's got good help around him, and I'm optimistic that he can take a good leap this year. So I think that's going to be a fun one. I also think Giants-Patriots is going to be a fun one. I know so many of us wanted Mike Vrabel as our head coach. So many of us wanted Drake May. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it comes together there. Vrabel and Dable have experience working together, so I think that's going to be a fun matchup. I think that Russ Wilson having as much experience as he does in the NFL, and Dexter Lawrence and guys like that, Brian Burns, all of that experience versus someone like Drake May, who's so young, and the Patriots roster is very young, and they're still trying to figure it out. They had a tough year last year. I think that can be an advantage for the Giants, and I think that that's going to be a fun game to watch. So those are the ones that I'm the most excited about. Let me know what you guys think about the schedule. What do you think the record's going to be? Do you think we have a possibility of winning more than 6 games? I'm seeing some ugly stuff on social media, so let's see if we can bring some optimism to the comments. It might not last long, but let's just see how we do for now, and we'll keep it going from there. Stay tuned for more Giants later.